And talking about the world, today happens to be World Radio Day. World Radio Day. And I'll give you details of that and why this day is celebrated. I'll give the theme and other things related to this particular day as well. So do join me from now till 10 o'clock when we check out of the studio and make way for SB and Dachima to take over your radio. And if this is your first time of tuning into Ultimate 106.9 FM, right after a cup of tea comes the brunch and lunch, and building relationship comes after that. The drive comes your way, and building relationship. Reverend is going to be here with the team. Reverend Benjamin Yanka is going to be here with the entire team to bring you all the things that you need to know about relationships, all kinds. Well, then the duo Mr. Berry and NY Jojo Green will be on your radio, and that will be between 2 to 8 p.m. I'm going to be between your radio, driving you home, taking you wherever you need to go after work, and that is what they do. And don't forget, Jojo Lama is going to be on your show as well, 8 to 10. And yes, Night Train with DJ Shutter, all the music and more. I'll be on your radio from 10 p.m. onwards. Do big time for everything on this particular radio, because we're going to serve you the best. And as today happens to be World Radio Day as well, we'll be giving you all the information you need to know. But this morning, lots will be happening on the network and much more to do about the pensioner and the bond. And if you've been following the news, the former CJ, she's been in the news, and some people in government and outside of government are not happy. The de facto prime minister of this particular country, Gabi, he's tweeted, and I'll bring you all he said in that particular tweet and all of that. But before we go to the lines and speak to Asamoah Yao, perhaps I chose on this video, and it's an audio as well. It's quite interesting. Listen before I cross over to Asamoah Yao and pick his thoughts on quite a number of development in this country. Listen to this.
And I make catch us as a woman answer to Toa. Let me go for 2 more. Young go for 2 to talk. And for you for 2 and for the tour. Young fat 20 tour. Young fat 20 tour. Yes, 50 for 20 for 2 at all. Mr. for 2 and 15 talk. And for 2 talk. Just saying. What you try the 20 for 2? Yes, and the bomb man brand. Yes, 50 for 2 talk. And for 2 talk. If the 2 and day. The time I come before that day, when you been home, the time I come for that day. Hallelujah. Amen. Listen to at 2 years. What you do? You go for 2. Yes. You 50 for 2 and talk. And for you 2. What you for 2 to hard? What 50 for 2 for 2? Me, you young crop for ya. Yes. Was you to for 2 for 2? What can Babuna? You panic better for the winner. Yes. Do you saw what I didn't put time for? Yes. I'm telling you. Yes. About the book of the first guy. Hey guy. One. Verse number 6. Would you be such a for 2 better check? What you for 2? Somebody get on about the 2. If you would, you did this woman, but we can't afford ya. You bet you 2. If you bet you me, William say, or plenty of party, or plenty of picture, the man. We go for 2. I go for 2. If it's 2, you're 50 dying. I'm 50 to 1. I'm 50. Let me go and say, and you be more. We are here at 2 number, but we did for 2 more. I'm 50 for 2. I'm with the 2. With the 2 on top. Yes, for 2 on top. Yes, you need to walk. You need to walk. What you do? Hallelujah. Amen. For 2. Yes, for man, no brand. Yes, 50 to walk. That's why you need to walk. Yes, we did 22. Amen. When you go, I'm about amen. And it's for patrol. Yes, and it's for patrol. But it's here you go for 2. I want you some. I own being. You want to be 52. But you want it to walk. If you want to talk. Yes. We are sabbing your put down for yes. I'm going to that's why they are. You can't Yes. Na dia yem say, we want somebody. Yes, obi ejitu no. We want a party be a warm up. Yeah, ba ba chi wam. Sam. Nam so montakra. Omo na tubom. Yes. And omo montakra se no. Omo na tubom. Odi to fa wo. Na mo na musi gofo bi di kam ba cheche wam. One at a time. Mon kwa jemre. Ati o mo ni so.
Well. That is Reverend Oko Ajimai. And he's talking about taxes. And if you understand Chi very, very well, what the man was trying to talk is about taxes and perhaps how the politician would promise more or less heaven or hell and tell us that people are corrupt, people are stealing the nation's money, and when they come to power, they will do things differently. NDC or MPP in our situation, do kadaya. They will talk about taxes. They will talk about moving us from taxes to production. And when they come, what happens? And that is specific reference to the new patriotic party, NPP, and for that matter, the current leader of the party and president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. What didn't they say? Once I told you, we'll be speaking to Asamoah Yao. He's a senior citizen, 81 years. And he's part of the narrative of this country. When he's not excited about certain things, he makes his mind clear on those conversations and those situations as well. This morning, we're privileged to speak to him. And going back to the background of this personality, he's got interesting thoughts about religion and more so about God. He believes Ghanaians are over-reliant on God. And if you read his books, I'll bring to you a number of books that he has written over the years. And perhaps I'll share some of the titles with you as well. But we'll not be focusing much more on the books. We're going to focus much more on things happening around. The senior citizens are not happy. Those who have gone on pensions and perhaps their monies they've been keeping somewhere, monies they bought bonds with, over the past few weeks, it's been a tussle. It's been a tug of war between them and government. Government still wants to use their monies in the debt exchange program. I'll bring to you what His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo said. He said, no, there will be no haircut. That is the president. Can we conclude that the president is a liar? Or perhaps those will be harsh words. Or if someone is a president and makes such statements, it is as usual political statement. Let's take it as that. Can we refer to a president, certain president, as a liar? Or that would be too harsh. With our culture, would it permit us, if the president tells us A and he means B and it's not the truth, how then do we describe him? A liar? Or we can't do that? Well, this morning I'd like to hear from you when you give us a call. But let's go to the phone lines and, as I said, speak to Asamoah Yao. Mr. Asamoah Yao, if you can hear us, good morning, sir. Hello, Mr. Asamoah Yao, good morning.
Morning, sir.
How are you, please? Hello, Mr. Asamoah Yao, can you hear us? Hello? We could hear you initially, but I don't know what has happened. We'll try and raise him back on the phone lines and pick his thoughts on quite a number of issues this morning.
Na me catch us as a woman nyansa gigi to a na de ku futuo mu a yen ko tuo futuo no to enko yi futuo no enko di to ubofu yen fa to ni to yen fiti futuo to ni futuo no to at all me si futuo yen fiti ni to ni futuo no to.
Okay, so I'll be back with Apostle Okwajiman's audio, but let's go back to the phone lines and try one more time if we can speak to Mr. Asamoah. Mr. Asamoah, if you can hear us, good morning to you, sir.
Mr. Caesar.
Yes, we can hear you now. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm still breathing. I'm still here.
81 years and still moving on. It looks like nature has been kind to you.
Well, I don't think so.
Why?
Well, I'm 81 because I take good care of myself.
Interesting. But Mr. Samoya, you are a senior citizen.
Yes, sir.
You've been sharing your thoughts about happenings in this country in all areas. I know you've got your own personal thoughts on what is happening to Ghana. Development, religion, and other areas. We have seen senior citizens, persons who are on pension, and the country, in terms of our economy, we are at a hard place. The president assured Ghanaians there's not going to be any haircut in the debt exchange program. But now we are seeing senior citizens who are even protesting because times are hard, things are not right. For you, how are you managing? How are you getting by with all the economic hardship around?
Can I speak now? Mr. Caesar.
Yes, sir.
Well, as the question is, how am I coping with the current situation?
Yes, sir.
Well, as a it's a little different. I prepared for this life, for this age. When I was a young man, I prepared very, very well, such that I will not face any difficulty that is under my control. I eat good food, I drink good water, I breathe good air, and I stay off filth. Asamoah takes good care of himself. Financially, I'm fine. I can buy anything I need. But going back to your original inquiry about Ghana's situation, Mr. Caesar, I think if you go out and ask any Ghanaian in the street, let's say someone who is above the age of 18, you ask that person, how do you feel? Do you see any difference in the past 6 years, 7 years, 10 years? How is your life? Are you comfortable now? I'm sure that over 100% will respond negatively. People are not comfortable. People are not happy. People are not progressing. In fact, most people will tell you that everything is going down. Life is changing. Life is getting worse. Now, Mr. Caesar, fortunately for you and I, there is a constitution for this nation, 1992 Constitution. Now, this Constitution has a lot of faults in it, but because the people in power benefit from it, nobody wants to change anything. I know there's been a few amendments, but important things that need to be altered are still intact because all the parliamentarians, including our president, enjoy it. For example, Chapter 8, Article 76, you could see that our president has power to select a group of people called cabinet members. The Constitution says the president can select a minimum of 10 and a maximum of 19. Our president at the moment, including himself and the vice president, we have more than, I think, 23 cabinet members. He's gone beyond the 19. Of course, he knows that nobody can challenge him. Now, the worst part of this particular clause, Article 76, Chapter 8, is that the president has created so many ministries, apart from the cabinet offices, so many ministries that if you look at the cost of maintaining these ministries, it is so expensive. And I'm sure he's aware that it's very expensive. In fact, if you check out African countries, Ghana is probably the number one country that has a lot of ministries. The worst of this is a ministry called Ministry for Monitoring and Evaluation. Ministry for Monitoring and Evaluation. Now, this guy is supposed to be a cabinet minister. There's also another ministry called Sanitation and Water Resources Ministry. And another one called Ministry for Tourism and Culture. Now, if you pick up number one, Ministry for Monitoring and Evaluation, if there's such an organization in Ghana, and this minister is responsible for monitoring everything that is going on in the country, and also evaluating every ministry or every public sector or private sector, and report to the executive. If you really think about this particular ministry, yeah, Ghana, you can shortcuts of everything. Ghana is now dependent on used goods from Europe. You go to any city, any town, you see second-hand goods, cars, clothing, shoes, every damn thing. Second-hand goods. Things which Europeans have thrown out. Garbage. Ghana is importing all of this to Ghana. Ghana is short of food, water, air. Hygiene is zero. Caesar, I feel so sick about this administration and even the previous administration. They are all the same. There's no difference between NDC and NPP. They are exact same twins. Why can't this Ministry for Monitoring and Evaluation see what is going on and report it to the chief executive, to the president? Or is the president blind?
But Mr. Samoa,
Can't he see what's going on?
There's been a realignment since 2021 to some of these ministries, especially the monitoring and evaluation. I must admit, it was in the first administration of His Excellency Anadem Akufo-Addo, but in the second term, that ministry has been realigned into other ministries. But yes, indeed, this administration is on record to have the highest number of ministers. But are you not seeing?
Listen to this.
Okay.
The Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources. Look at our waters. River Brim, River Densu, River Pra. Name it. All our rivers are polluted with this Galamsey businesses. Can this ministry get care of it? There's a ministry for this. Sanitation. Look at garbage everywhere. Every city. Garbage. Ghana is a garbage country. We even import garbage into this country. What is this ministry doing? Caesar, I'm so disappointed about Akufo-Addo and all his people. And I don't think we even have an alternative. Mama will come and do the same thing. Black man. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I hope your God knows what is going on. And your God should do something about it. If there is a GOD, what is happening in the country is incredible. Incredible. And nobody gives a damn.
Mr. Samoya, but this current administration, led by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, promised to do better in terms of his speeches, in terms of what he said, in terms of his actions before coming into power. He promised to do better. He promised Ghanaians a lot of things. What happened along the line for us to be seeing perhaps some of these things happening under his administration that is unacceptable?
Well, you see, this is the whole thing. A black man, a black politician, they are so good at talking, no action. President said once that we are sitting on gold and we are still hungry, we are poor. And we are still poorer, not even just poor. What is he doing? I think this guy is a liar, or is controlling him not to do whatever he intends to do. And I think the main problem is the Article 55, Chapter 7 of the Constitution. It allows the political parties in the nation to take part in governance. So when a political party has appointed the president to be elected, when the president becomes elected, it's the party that is telling him what to do and what not to do. It is the party that is... Now, hold on a second. Okay. It is the party that tells the MP what to do and what not to do. Ghana is controlled by this political party hierarchy. Our president has given us so many promises, but the parties, I'm sure, prevent him from taking serious action. It makes him a liar. It makes him irresponsible. It makes the president useless. Useless. And including all the MPs.
As a way, chicken tongue, you're using very harsh words at the president this morning. It makes him a liar. It makes him useless. Are these fair words? Can the citizenry use these words on the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo?
Well, I think he deserves it. He deserves it because, like what I quoted at first, the Constitution expects him to appoint not more than 19 cabinet members. How many has he got now? The Constitution prevents him. Don't you see that? He has given so many promises, and they are failing. You cannot point a simple thing that the president has done that the public in general benefit. Nothing. He deserves all these words. He should examine himself.
But this is a president who is building
the worst president in Ghana history.
This is a president who is building a cathedral, and perhaps lots of Ghanaians, or a greater good of Ghanaians who claim to be Christians, support his agenda.
Mr. Caesar, can you imagine a president of an African country, a president of black nation Ghana, with all these problems? As we're talking, there are some school children who go under the tree to study. They don't have chairs to sit on. They don't have books. And our president is building a church, the biggest church in Ghana, a cathedral. Do you think this makes sense? Do you really think building a cathedral for Ghana, a black nation that needs everything, that imports used goods, that needs food, that needs everything, and the president is going to spend money to build a church, a cathedral for the whole nation? Man, do you call this president a wise president? Does he know the Ghanaian problems? Is he aware of Ghanaian problems? Well, Caesar, I feel so sad. So sad to be part of this nation. But I don't have choice. And if we don't have such people to rule the nation, I don't know. I really don't know. This nation is thinking. And I'm sure we're thinking because our leaders don't have the priority. They don't have any sense of development. Our leaders have disappointed everyone in the nation. Very disappointing. All of them. All of them. Even next election, if the president loses power and another person like Mama or whoever, they all come to do the same thing because the Constitution allowed them to fool about. You can't question it. It's so crazy.
Is it a problem with our Constitution, or the problem is with the DNA of the Ghanaian, who perhaps lacks leadership qualities?
Well, you see, Ghanaian per se is an African. We are all African. Our nature is not good. If you compare the black person's nature with other racial groups' nature, you see that by nature, we are not intelligent. Our brain organ is different. There's a chemistry in black people's neurons. We cannot think straight. We cannot think straight. You can't compare a black person to a Caucasian, to a Chinese, to an Indian. That is why they are capable of coming here to control us. We are incapable of critical thinking by nature. So what the president is doing is not surprising. Anybody that comes with power will do the same thing as long as the person is a black person. It's so crazy.
But Mr. Samoya, if that is the nature, and some Ghanaians who are blacks have realized that things are not going well and are speaking up just as yourself, why is the president not listening? At least he should listen.
Well, Caesar, you're right. My search shows that most black people, I'm talking about most, there are few among us who don't have neuromelanin. There's a chemistry in most black people's neurons. It's called neuromelanin. It prevents the brain to do critical thinking. Most. There are a few among us who are possibly without neuromelanin in their neurons. Possibly. That they don't have, or they have very little. But most of us, and I'm sure all our leaders, I can't think of one of them. Of course, I don't know all of them. But most of our leaders, I think the brain contains neuromelanin. They can't do critical thinking. They don't see properly, they don't hear properly, and they don't even talk properly. It's so crazy. It's our nature. It's so crazy. So I guarantee that even if one of the intelligent black people becomes a leader of this nation, that black person will think that he's privileged to do what he's doing. He will not change anything. Because when he changes, his type will become 20, become more in the system. He can have privileges of showing his intelligence. We are not clear 100% human beings. And all the time I compare a sheep, a goat, a cow, if you compare these animals, you see that one of them is very brilliant. And one of the other ones are very, very stupid. A cow will cross the street without looking anywhere. But a goat or a sheep will look left and right and run across. The brain of most black people is just like the one of the cow. It is its nature. Our nature is so bad. But somehow, Caesar, I'm convinced that it is possible that someone will create a medicine for most black people. When we drink it or when we use it, it will cleanse the neuromelanin in our system. Without that, we will continue to be as stupid as we have been. I'm saying we, I'm included. we will continue to be as stupid as we are. And we will continue to have stupid leaders to rule us. They don't see what they're doing. They don't think they're doing anything wrong. He becomes a president, he becomes an MP, he's looking for a big car, a big house, and bluff. Thinking like honorable. Yeah, there comes honorable. He has a bodyguard of about 30 cars following him. Stupid. Stupid. In the meanwhile, the people are suffering.
Isn't that a way to show power in Africa?
It is power. They need to show that they have power. Why? It's because we are blacks. We are not intelligent. Go to Europe and see. A president is going for a general meeting, and it's only about 3 cars. Come to Ghana. Ordinary MP is passing through. You have over 10 cars. I have 10 cars leading. Oh, black man. I don't know. Mr. Caesar, you are a Christian. Now, if there is such a thing called God, who has power over everything and knows everything, God knows that Africans are going to be stupid. Why did he make us stupid if God really created man? Really God. If God created all men equal, why did he make that person so stupid? We have demonstrated throughout the years that we can be controlled, and people are still controlling us. The Chinese are now coming to tell us what to do. God damn it. It's so hurting. So hurting. And it keeps on coming. I don't know if the Chinese or the Indians or the Europeans are going to create a medicine to cleanse our neurons, to make us a little bit like humans. But not until something is done about our nature, we will continue to be fooled all the time. All the time. People are hungry now. People need water. And our president comes on the radio to tell us that our mining is not destroying our rivers. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What about his monitoring ministry? What is he doing? There's evidence on the floor. Go to the forest. You see the soil is damaged. The forest is damaged. Our rivers are damaged. The Chinese are preparing to supply Ghana with purified water because our waters are going to be damaged. Africans, Caesar, we look like humans. We are a bunch of animals.
Harsh words this morning.
I'm
done. What?
Yes, sir.
What would you tell those who still have faith in the current president?
I'm telling you, I'm telling you something.
In the current president.
No, listen. Anybody who has faith, and that faith is a belief that he or she himself has faith that he or she can do anything in this world by him or herself, by collecting quality information into the brain and behaving as a human being. Faith in yourself, not faith in anything spiritual or anything external. If you have faith in God, that God is going to do X or B for you, there's no guarantee, there's no evidence that there is a God. No evidence. Because what makes God God is that this entity called God has superpower and super knowledge. Everything that is coming tomorrow, next year, next 1,000 years, if that is God, God is aware of it. And God knows exactly how it's going to affect human beings. But if you have faith in God, please rethink. Because if you ask yourself, What is the purpose of God's superpower and super knowledge? When you think critical about that, you see it's zero. God knows this thing our president is going to mess up. And God has power to change him. God knows that this cathedral is not necessary for the nation. If there is God. And God has allowed our president to use over $400 million to start to build a cathedral for God. Here, if there is God, what does this God use the power and knowledge to help mankind? We keep fooling about, and the God knows if there is God. God knows that the action we're going to take is going to affect us. Can you ask yourself, what is the purpose of this God? God with superpower and super knowledge. To have faith in God is so stupid. I'm sorry I'm using bad words. But to have faith in any spiritual entity, I don't know, it's childish. Childish. In the ancient time, people did not understand nature. In the ancient days, people think there was something in the air that is responsible for everything. Someone in the air, they call it God or Allah or whatever. Thousands of years ago, people did not understand anything. But today, human knowledge has increased such that you cannot have faith in any external entity other than yourself. You can do anything you want on this planet if you're really serious. Just collect quality information about what you want to do and pursue that goal. Everything is possible. But black man, it is not even his own God. It is the foreign God that the black man is worshiping, including our president. Building a cathedral. A cathedral. Unbelievable. I think I should stop because I keep insulting people. You know? People are not reasoning well. People are not. It's our nature. We are not critical thinkers.
Okay. Mr. Samoya, before we let you go, what then can we do to change the narrative for the next generation?
Again?
What can we do to change the narrative for the next generation?
Oh, I couldn't get the second word. What?
What can we do to change the narrative for the next generation?
Oh, well, this generation has a lot to do. My best advice is that we should let the current generation be aware that if they have faith in themselves, that there's nothing they cannot do. If they seriously want to do something, have faith in yourself, your brain, and collect information about that particular thing you aim for. And every damn thing is possible. Let us teach the younger generation to be conscious of themselves and have an ambition and work towards that. Dependent on spirituality is so wonderful. There's evidence. Depending on spirituality, God, witches, this, black man, I don't know. If we don't do that to current generation, they will carry on this same nonsense our fathers have nurtured elsewhere. If we don't tell them have faith in yourself, they will still maintain this have faith in God, and they will still remain at the base where they are. In fact, they may even I don't know what to say. Okay.
Mr. Samoya, we're grateful for speaking to us this morning. you have a good time.
Well, Caesar, thank you for giving me this chance. And, I didn't intend to insult anybody, but the behavior pattern of most black people, makes me speak crash. Caesar, if you travel anywhere, any town, 1 mile, you can count about 3 or 4 churches. Go to anywhere. 1 mile, you can count about 3 to 4 churches. Because they all believe there's something called God. If you build a house and you have the Bible or the Quran and you keep praying, God will help you. If there is God, God knows your problems already, even before the problem comes. And God knows that you're going to suffer from that. Why does God see this problem recurring every time and God has not used the power to solve the problem? We keep building churches and churches and churches. Don't we know churches are business? It's business. Business, our president. It's a child business. The fan. I have to end here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I understand your pain. I really understand.
Welcome, sir.
I really understand it. But that's Asamoah. He's an author as well. Let me let you know some of the books he's written over the years. Kente Cloth, that's his first book that he wrote, Introduction to History.